I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Booby.
And Julpy and Ghosty and Chip.
Propagandhi. And the name of the song is Nigredo.
Just for bloody voodoo dolls.
Shout out to the big homie. I felt like I had either talked to somebody from this band or something, but then I was like, well, maybe it's a different band. There was another there was a band from India that I talked to, and we were setting something up and we lost touch. And then maybe I'm looking at Propagandhi. I don't know, but I felt like we already talked about this band or did something, but I looked and I didn't see anything, so here we are.
You know what, mate? I bet it was in the second Rockathon. We probably did one in the second Rockathon, and then it hasn't been.
Man, that band, that song, the name of that band has been in my head for like over a year, like well before.
Doesn't look like that's what it was.
Yeah, it's well before that. Like almost, I want to say like at the beginning of the channel.
I know, me too. It's super familiar, and I'm not sure why.
It was well before the Rockathon, in my opinion. But okay, so this is Nigredo.
Okay.
Interesting. I think that's a Latin. It means like to blacken or something like that. By Propagandhi. For time and topical political commentary, you can hit us up at Middle America with Vin and Sori. If you want a song reviewed from your favorite band, there's multiple ways to do it. You can email us, vinandsori@gmail.com. You can Instagram me, Twitter me. I'm the one that's on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook.
I pop in here and there, but...
If you get a response on social, it's me. If you get a response from Patreon, it's Sori.
I pop in sometimes on the other socials, but mostly it's Vin.
99% of the time it's Vincent. So, and then there's also joining an alliance, which we will talk about in the next coming days. And then there's also the $75 tier, which bumps you right up to the head of the line. And so that's the queue that we're clearing out now. Okay, so this is Propagandhi Nigredo from the record. I think the name of the record is Victory Lap.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was too.
And let's go.
Go.
wasting away. First bad choice then, after it's too late, they decide that they want to come back to life. But they're drowning in the sea so endless. You see them come up forever, then go under forever.
I'm not
kinda
sure.
Reminded me of like like we've talked about people that have been on certain drugs and stuff and how it.
At the end, have you ever seen someone wasting away first by choice and after it's too late, they decide they want to come back?
But they're drowning in a sea so endless. You see them come up for air, then go under forever.
That's actually a really, really, really salient point that I think a lot of is missed a lot during conversations about addiction and addiction recovery.
Yep.
And I think part of it is because I think, you don't want to tell the person, look, you can cross a line that you can't come back from. The reason you don't want to say that is because if a person, that's one of the main things that keeps an addict addicted is they go, well, I can't overcome this. So you're not going to want to tell a person that. But it's interesting because on the spiritual side, I'm much more comfortable doing it on the spiritual side. Where I said, look, man, Scripture says if you hear God's voice, don't harden your heart. And the reason is because there will be a day on this planet where you don't hear his voice anymore. And that's not good.
Right.
Like people turn certain corners and cannot turn around.
Yep.
And so I think it's a very dangerous thing to say to an addict because it feeds a lot of the defeatist verbiage that they hear a lot of the times because it gives them justifications to remain in that state. But, unfortunately, we've been in that situation where you can't do that to yourself and to your body. And then I think that's one of the things about addiction is that it's the delusion that you have power over it.
Yeah. Right.
And so that mentality kind of indicates like you thought you had some power over it and that you could randomly decide that you were going to not be an addict anymore.
Yep.
So you just woke up and said, oh, okay, like that's not how it goes.
Right.
You become chemically and emotionally and psychologically dependent on this thing. And the deeper and deeper you get yourself into that hole, the longer and longer the rope is going to have to be, and the more people are going to have to jump down in that pit to get you out.
Right.
And so some people are blessed to have lots of rope and lots of people, and other people don't have that.
But some people, it doesn't matter how many ropes and how many people they have.
True.
They'll screw them all.
It's true. It's true. Like, we've seen people that are just determined to die on this shit.
Yep.
That is true. I'm just more talking about, like I said, you have to be so careful because of who's listening. But, like I said,
everybody
it's not
always has
something
a
to
rope.
play with.
Everybody always has at least one rope. Even if your entire family has abandoned you, there's so many different programs and stuff that are out there to get into. And some of them, they cost money that you don't have, or they require insurance and you don't have insurance. But there are other ones that don't require either. But like you just tell them you really want to get help.
All of them that we've been involved with, if the person is like genuinely serious and wants to get clean, like they always find some way to look the other way when it comes to the money stuff. That's at the end of the day, it comes down to do you want to or do you not, which is very easy for me to say because I have never personally dealt with. My family has a massive comorbidity of addictive personality disorders in various shapes and forms. And so because of that, and my mom did a really good job of this, as a registered nurse, she would tell us this stuff. And so I heard about that so young in my life that I purposely stayed away from certain things because I knew I'd get addicted to it. So I've never I've never been like addicted to a substance that was going to kill me or something like that. You know, like I channeled it into things like art or people or, you know, whatever. Well, you're the only person that I've channeled that to that way. So, like, I dodged that bullet because I was blessed enough to have a mom that, you know, she dropped a lot of wisdom on it. Now, like, now that I'm an adult with my own kids, like, now I realize, like, okay, like, she was dropping a lot of wisdom on us for sure. So I don't know what that's like per se, but I do know that I have seen people like play games with it.
Yeah.
Mess with it and like have this kind of delusion that, oh yeah, it killed all these other people and all these other people were addicted to it, but I'm gonna be and you know, you hear about the Ray Charles type people who lock themselves in a room and detox themselves. And you know, so it's like these are 1 in a million type people. Like that's not
you can die that way. You should
100%.
You should get professional help when you're gonna stop.
100%. But what happens is you hear that, or you hear all these urban legends of that happening.
Yeah.
So then, not only it's not like people are dropping like flies trying to detox themselves. What it serves to do is it makes them say, "Oh, so I can stop anytime I want." So it feeds all these like delusions that.
Right.
And look, if you're an addict, like they come up with, it's just like, Dave Goggins we were talking about, Navy SEAL guy, he was like 300 pounds and then, he lost it in like 3 months or something like that.
Yeah. 3 months?
It was something ridiculous. Like
I didn't hear the amount of time. He
lost like 150 pounds in like 3 months or 2 months or some ridiculous thing like that. But anyway, he was talking about, he said, I became obsessed with moving, and he would talk about like, you just find an excuse or a reason to win. And, and that's how it works with addiction is like people find an excuse and a reason to get high. And so like when you hear stories of somebody who locked themselves in a room and got over it, they're not thinking, oh, I'm going to do that. What they're thinking is, oh, that means I can master the drug. That means that, I can just randomly throw myself in a room one day and everything is going to be fine. No, that's not how it works. You will lock yourself in a... Look, again, are there exceptions to the rule? Yes, but exceptions generally prove the rule. The fact that it's an exception means that for the most of us, you're going to need professional help in a plan. You're not going to be able to tell fentanyl that we're going to break up fentanyl. Right. That's not how it works.
Right.
And we're saying this as people who've, So, it's
I remember one of the people saying too that they would always make there was always like a reason to indulge in the drug or the drinking or whatever it was kind of wrecking their lives. Like there would always be a reason, some celebration, some this or that. They also said that after they would go X amount of time being clean, then they would want to celebrate. And the only way that they knew about celebrating was to actually like do the drug again. So they were like, I'll give myself a little treat. And then they get sucked right back into it.
That's how a lot of them die.
Yeah.
Because their body, they quit. They quit the drug for a 6-month span. And then when they want to give themselves a little treat, they go back to it at the same dosage level, whatever you want to call it, that they used to, and there was no buildup, and they die. A lot of these guys die in the hotel that way. So, it's the worst. We were hanging out, with Head from Korn, and there was a couple folks back with us, and they were like a drug recovery program.
Yeah, if you watch the Korn show review, you'll see all about it.
Part 2. Like I told the guy point blank, like I could never do what he does. He's talking about like burying these people and all this. And if people knew like what I've done in my life, they'd be like, oh, that's child's play. Nope, no way. Like I could never. The context is just different. Like this mom is sending this kid to this recovery program. It's hope. You've got this hope, and he agrees to go, and and then to have to bury that kid with that mom that you saw 2 months ago. Like I couldn't do it. Is there some bad guy doing some horrible thing on the planet? Then, but like I
feel
could
like
never ever do a job like that.
You know, I
couldn't do it.
Once I did that a couple times, I think then I would become of no use to the next batch. Because I'd be like, no, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'd just...
Well, I mean, even the brief interaction we had with it, there was a, you know, I mean, I have kind of, you know, like the default to doing this to people, but you cry with them, you do whatever, then you talk to the parent, you know, I remember one guy you know, he gave the same spiel every time we dropped somebody off. They were like, you know, and sure enough, the guy left, and sure enough, it was the mom that picked him up. It's just like, oh my gosh.
I remember you looking at one guy and saying, like, this is going to kill you. We're going to bury you.
He didn't care.
If you don't stop, we're going to bury you. And I couldn't believe that you said it that, like, I was like, oh my gosh, there's no politics here. And then I realized, like, after we left, because I was like, I can't believe you just said that to him. You're like, I've told him that many times before. And I'm like, yeah, you did just tell him the truth.
Yeah,
That's
we
true.
drove by and saw him in the street, and he was like,
We literally had just said something about him to each other.
Yeah.
Because he had, like, this personality where he could have really, like, done anything with his life. And so we were actually talking about his potential, and then we drove past him and didn't even recognize him. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait. And it was him. He had lost so much weight. Although I heard he was doing better.
I didn't even recognize. Well, I mean, this guy literally was one of those people that literally, like, he could have killed it on YouTube.
Yes.
He could have.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
He would have killed it. There's some people where, like, oh, I want to do YouTube. Like, they'll tell us, you know, they'll figure it out that we're, you know, whatever. And I'm like,
yeah.
But this guy, oh my gosh.
No, you're right. You're right.
Just by himself.
Yeah.
Just by himself.
Yep.
And just hit play and just, like, whatever.
He had so much to say too.
Oh my gosh. He would have been amazing, but, you know, you can't master that stuff, man. I know you think you found some certainty, but you know we always learn the hard way. If you get lucky and you're the last to leave, you'll watch the burning out of everything. Some stories end in nothing more. Quite aching we endure. We're all just faces and nothing more. So
Yikes.
Take the ashes on, headed out. I think this is probably from the perspective of the drug addict to the friend or to the person, the concern. I know you think you found some certainty. You know, I remember there was somebody in my family who was like, oh, you've got all the answers, huh? And it was like, no, I just know that this isn't the answer. Mm-hmm. But there's that hostility that gets generated. Mm-hmm. And it basically, this is once again kind of like that nihilism, like, hey, we're all just faces, and if you're the last, if you get lucky and you're the last to leave, meaning you're the last survivor,
yep,
you'll watch the burning out of everything. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, sure, you're clean and all the rest of it, and this drug's gonna kill me, sure, but hey, at the end of the day, it's all meaningless anyway. So, but this is again the complex. A lot of these people, when you hear the term junkie, people like stereotype them as being not intelligent. Some of these people, some of the most intelligent people, period. They'll run circles around you.
I actually didn't find. I mean, not that I remember. I don't remember any of them not being intelligent.
There's not one of them that wasn't
I remember all of them.
Highly intelligent.
Yeah.
Highly intelligent.
Yeah.
And but you kind of have to be that intelligent to be able to construct a personal philosophy to keep doing that to yourself. And so here it looks to me like this is the addict talking to his friend or whatever. Oh, you found some certainty. You know, we'll always learn the hard way. You know, like, if you're right, then I'm going to figure out the hard way. Basically what I'm hearing. And he goes, if you get lucky, you're the last to leave. Some stories end in nothing more. He's basically like, look, man, I'm going to die. That's it. Like, period. Mm-hmm. So, like, that little section right there was pretty deep to me. I was like, yo, like, this guy... There's a lot of reason like people fall into nihilism at times.
Maybe this is the same thing as what you're saying, but I feel like it's the friend saying it to the one that's the addict. I know you think you've found some certainty, but you know you always learn the hard way. If you get lucky and you're last to leave,
we always learn the hard way.
But you know, we always learn the hard way. Oh, yeah.
If you get lucky and you're the last to leave, you'll watch the burning out of everything.
Yeah, I thought he was saying, like, if you're lucky and you're the one that survives the longest out of all your junkie friends, then you'll be watching the burning out of everything because you're going to see everybody die around you. But then it didn't. It said we always learn the hard way, so never mind.
A quiet aching we endure. Like I think what he's saying is, look, life is full of pain and suffering, and this takes me out of my pain and suffering temporarily. And yeah, it might kill me, but you're gonna die too. So if out of all his circle of friends, you're the one that lives the longest.
Oh,
whoop-de-doo. What did you get? You just got to see the burning out of everything else.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I think that's
so
right.
there's a sense in which the nihilism functions to, continue on with the addiction. So that's why I said, like, these dudes are smart.
Yeah.
These women, they are smart as far as how to justify that to themselves. And if you don't have, obviously as Christians, like, we're looking at things differently, right? Like, this world isn't all that there is, and and there's, there's a heaven to be gained and a hell to be avoided, and yada yada yada. But then at the end of the song, he says, "Our lives can't be replaced," and I think that's what he is saying to his friend. His friend is saying, "Hey, man, we're just gonna die out. Some people die out. Nobody's important. Da 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 da." And at the end of the song, he's saying, "Well, our lives can't be replaced. Like, sure, everybody's gonna die, sure, but the impact that you have made." On me and me on you and all of us on each other is not something that we can just replace and dispense with. And you're valuable. You should value your life. And I think that's one of the hardest things about loving someone in addiction, is that you end up valuing their life more than they do.
Yeah.
And that's probably the hardest thing in the world. Yeah, I really can't think of anything tougher than that. Like, person, hitting some corner or turning to some breaking point where they don't feel like their life is valuable, but you are, they're extremely valuable to you. So it's pretty. And then, I go through phases where I get so angry. I'm like, you are devaluing yourself to give yourself the excuse to destroy yourself.
Yeah.
And you keep telling yourself this so that you won't have to face responsibility for all the lives that are going to be wrecked when you get wrecked, so that you can, do that with a clean conscience.
Or all the lives that you are wrecking currently because you're wrecking your own.
Right, because you are important.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, like, if you legitimately were not important, then you'd have no responsibility. But you're important to a lot of people.
Yeah. If you weren't important, they wouldn't try to help you, and if you weren't important, they would be mad at you.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's something I struggle with a lot, Yeah. But and obviously losing people in those situations and all that, it becomes,
Yeah.
more. I've buried people that have succumbed to their to drugs. So, it's one of those things, man, where you're like, just keep trusting God and praying, I guess. Sonically, didn't really move me, to be honest.
Well, some of it I liked, but
it didn't really move me. I like some of the clean parts for sure.
those are the parts I really liked with the clean.
I really like the picture of the roller coaster in the middle of an ocean.
Yeah.
I think that says a whole lot.
It does.
Like there's this banana that just got sold for like $130,000.
Huh? Why?
Yeah. It was literally a banana duct taped to a wall, and it sold for like $130K. And then this guy showed up and ate it. It's pretty funny. I'm serious. Yeah. Banana in an art gallery. So, yeah. So
the guy bought it for $130 just to come over and eat it?
No, I think some dude rolled up on it and ate it.
World!
Yeah. I was gonna shoot a Middle America video on it, but I was like, yo, that's crazy.
Babe, you should have, and you shouldn't have told it to me. You should have just showed it to me. That would have been funny.
Yeah, I mean, there's postmodernism at its... Yeah, there you go.
What?
Yeah, I told you, $120K. Yeah.
It hadn't even sold. It was going to sell.
Yeah. So that dude, that couple who bought $120,000 banana art since it will be iconic. Yeah, it was iconic until somebody ate it, my guy.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He ate it. Sold it for $120K.
So then it never sold.
I mean, I don't know. But I'll tell you what.
Did he get in trouble?
Well, let me tell you something. let me not say that. I'm just saying, if I sold a banana for 120K and some dude went and did that, like, I don't know, Village. I don't know.
That'd be the end of the channel.
I don't know. That'd be into something, my guy. Something would be over. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, the music didn't really move me, but the lyrics were absolutely touching. And I don't know if they were touching because, I mean, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Obviously,
yeah.
we're pretty close to the issue. Still
Right.
are, unfortunately, but
Right.
you know, it's one of those things. Trust Allah and tie your camel. What do you give the song?
8.9.
Yeah, it's a 7.4 for me. 7.4.
All right.
All right, Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.